Yo guys, what is going on and welcome to the video. Today we're going to review Starfield. We'll review how it runs on a AMD CPU and GPU setup. I'm using a Ryzen 7 5700X CPU and that's paired with an RX 6650 XT GPU, or graphics card. Game runs pretty well. I've left everything on default settings when it loaded up, so everything's on roughly medium settings. I play it in 1440p. I've recorded it in 1080p, just because I had some issues when I was recording it for some reason. Yeah, I average around 80 frames, I believe. So my AMD Adrenaline software tells me. But it runs pretty good. Seems an alright game. It's very grindy. I don't know. It's a strange one. I'm disappointed there's not much flight, sort of space flight really. You're either, auto taking off and landing on planets, and yeah, there is some space combat, but it's very. I don't know if it's not dulled down. It's not dulled down. There is some mechanics there, but yeah, I don't know. It'd be nice to fly around planets. It'd be nice to, make your way to a planet rather than just not really getting anywhere. Yeah, it's a bit of a funny one, is that? But yeah, the game, it's a funny game. I wasn't sure what to expect. I think if you're a fan of Skyrim, then you were always going to love Starfield. For me, it's an alright game. I'll get some hours in. I'm about 12, I think 12 or 13 hours deep so far, so I've not done a great deal. I'm only like level 12 in game, but yeah, it's I don't know. They just don't seem. Things seem to be quite bare. Planets seem to be a bit bare. There doesn't seem to be much going on. I've not really touched on like the outposts and stuff yet, so maybe there's a lot more to come. I've read that, once you've completed it and you start a second playthrough, that's when the game really starts. But you don't really want to fly through story missions just to get to play it again with whatever makes it different. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's definitely interesting. I think I was trying to set an outpost up when I was recording this, and I randomly came across this ship. There were a few bad guys that I shot. I made my way into the ship, and it said, "Yeah, kill them, or leave." Now, I got stuck on these ladders. I was trying to jump off, wouldn't let me, and then I'd seen this guy here. And I didn't know if he were an enemy or not because there were no sort of marker on the screen, but obviously started shooting at me, and there was no way for me to sort of slide or jump off the ladders, it didn't seem, so I was kind of stuck slowly climbing down them. A bit of a strange one. Yeah, need to practice messing about on there. I ended up having to jump up and mantle to get in. But yeah, like, I don't know, game seems quite easy, if you're, as long as you're in the right level for the planet you're landing on, I guess. But yeah, like, I don't know, I've got some good shotguns that are doing some work. There's not a shitload of enemies, there's not a shitload of stuff going on really throughout the game. There is, when you go to your major towns and cities or whatever, you've got loads of people around, loads of missions to do, random missions, but it seems to be just flying to remote random places. You'll come across some enemy ships that you fucking shit on you sometimes. There's definitely a bit of grinding to do with the ships for sure, in terms of getting some good weapons, upgrading your shields and all that sort of stuff. But when I got this, I thought, alright, we're chilling, let's see what it's about. It looks alright. It's a new ship at least. I'm mainly after a bigger ship that's got bigger cargo. That's what I need to start focusing on, because fuck me, the amount of shit that you pick up in this game is unbelievable. You're constantly overburdened. So specifically in this, your oxygen runs out and your CO2 levels massively increase in your suit, which is a fucking right pain in the ass. You've got the robot companion. You've got a few companions you can take with you. The robot guy, he's got some storage, but that guy glitches out. I've had him glitch out so many times in buildings when I've been like raiding or whatever. Yeah, it's a bit, don't know. Lot of loot, lot of loot. Fallout 4 were like that though. You're just picking everything up constantly. So yeah, you've definitely got to manage your loot. But I need to get into grips with the storage system, get some extra storage on board. This ship's got a little bit more storage than my previous one. So this is a start for sure. Definitely need to sell just random shit that I don't need, work out what I do need. But yeah, at the minute I'm just sort of randomly picking up every guy's weapons that I've killed, and I'm ending up with like 9, 10, 11 of the same gun that are worth, you know, 300 or 400 credits each when I sell them, which is not really worth my time, but I don't know, it just seems to be what's in my inventory the majority of the time. I tried landing back at the outpost that I set up, but I think I forgot what planet it was. So then when I landed at this next one, it was not what I were expecting. But this is the thing, you see, you just auto landing, picking a spot, landing. You know, it's just be nice if you could fly around. You know, alright, have a transition between coming off the planet and into space. You need to do your, you know, it's got little load times in between these transitions. I understand how why they've done it, but I think they're missing a trick not letting you fly ships around. You know, on planets, on surfaces a bit more. These bodies randomly, I don't know how these are going to disappear. Hopefully they just fuck off at some point, unless maybe when I get it repaired they'll clean them up, I don't know. Or are they always just going to be there? Reminder of my how I got hold of the ship, I have no clue. But yeah, so I mean, don't know, it runs alright. I paid £85 on Steam for the whichever it is, deluxe edition. Were it worth it? I don't know. I'm going to struggle getting my money's worth out of it, I think. There'll be an expansion pack though, which when that comes out, I'll have to play that. I will get my hours out of it, I would have thought, going through it and completing everything that needs doing. But yeah, it's I don't know. I think it's just missed the mark of what it could have been. Really, mainly for the flight, sort of space flight. But you never know. Things might, when I get deeper down the missions and what have you, maybe it'll be, I don't know, maybe it'll make sense. I've not really got into fast travel so much at the minute because I'm constantly overburdened. So I'm not quite sure how that works. If you can fast travel, really far distances, different planets, or if it's just locally, if you can fast travel. I need to get into that more. Yeah, but I was just exploring on this little playthrough. I've come across this mining facility or whatever it is. But again, you've got a few enemies scattered around. Combat's not overly difficult as long as you've got the right weapons. Because I'd stashed everything away. I ended up having to re-put my guns on my loadout bar, which definitely the game doesn't do enough to tell you this. But when you start using that quick select bar, it does make it a little bit more interesting for combat when you can switch between your weapons a little bit quicker. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this game? Anyone got it yet? This is obviously in sort of a week early access. What's everyone's thoughts on the game? You enjoying it so far? Is it what you thought it'd be? Were you a Skyrim fan originally? Have you sort of played all Bethesda games and you're just a fanboy, or is it not quite hit the mark? I'm quite interested, and I've seen sort of hit and miss. I've read some reviews. I've seen some reviews that some are slating it, some are bigging it up. I think it is just one of them. If you're a fan of personally, I think if you're a fan of previous Bethesdas, Skyrim in particular, then I think you're always gonna like Starfield, regardless of things that might have been missing or things that you think should have been in the game. I think you're more interested in just a massive open world RPG that you could sink 150, 200 hours into. Maybe when mods come out for it later on. I don't know when that's going to start getting worked on, but I don't know. Maybe modders can do something that just, I don't know, makes it a little bit. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if they can do it with a space flight. It'd just be cool to fly around the planets rather than, you know, you park up and then you just fucking running a kilometre just to get to whatever point of interest might be around. Yeah. Yeah, I got quite like this shotgun that I found. It's like a fast firing little stubby shotty. I didn't realise at this point just how quick it fired until I think I went inside. But yeah, this fucking demolished when you're up close. There's just no real consequences. You can just kind of get up close and personal, just fucking blast away and fill your health back up again. As long as you keep on top of having medkits and med sprays and whatever else you need, it seems to be. I don't know. It seems to be pretty easy, but you know, we like that. We don't want to be fucking stressing when we play games, do we? Not too much. Some of the space combats you find yourself in, if you free roam, and you go to a planet that's, you know, a little bit too tough, you can sort of get stuck in a loop. I think when I first few hours of playing, I found some random side quest missions, something to do with the mantis, that I went to do, and I don't know, I must have been like level 4 or 5 at that point, and like the main enemy were like a level 25, and it were killable, you know, it was a little bit of a grind. I died a couple of times until I sort of worked out cheese tactics to get around what I was doing, but yeah, it were, I don't know, I ended up not being able to fully complete the mission because there were some crazy laser beams that were shooting at me. I think you had to walk on like a grid in the correct pattern to do that, but every time I got anywhere close, the lasers were just fucking ripping me apart. So I don't know if I've missed something there, or if I need something different, or if you trigger the lasers once, you've got to sort of leave and go back and try again. I have no idea, but yeah, and definitely space flights. Some sort of space fights I've been involved in, where you randomly get, I don't know, you're getting up in a fight with people that you shouldn't be fighting. You're up against 3 or 4 enemies, and I don't know, just getting overwhelmed, and you end up having to go back to a previous save just to get away from that little encounter. I don't know if there's another way to get away from them, but it seems once you're in combat you can't sort of I don't know what it's called, grav away, boost away, fly to a different planet, whatever, warp, I guess. Can't warp speed away. But and there doesn't seem to be a way to lose the enemies, no matter how far you kind of fly and sort of boost, and you know, you'll get kilometers and kilometers, thousands of kilometers away from them, but you're still classed as, you know, in a fight, a combat situation, and you can't boost away, which is a little bit annoying. But yeah, I think that's just understanding where you're flying and what levels you're going to be up against. But maybe that's part of the game, you know, maybe you fuck up, you know, that's why they quick save a lot, and you can just go back to a you know, 5 minutes earlier just to get yourself out of that situation, and you know, then that next, you know, when you try and attempt that mission or that activity, or you know, whatever it is, that you need another few levels, you might need to put some skill points in, you know, a certain area just for you to achieve it. I've been putting some skill points in the lock picking, so I can start doing the more, I think the expert ones. There seems to be a lot of use for stuff like that. But there's a shitload of skill points you can use throughout the game, loads and loads. But even there, look, mountain over there, 2 people shooting at me. There's just no real threat. I can just fucking blitz that guy, use a quick health, fucking rip him to shreds. And then there's just this other chappy, like, I don't know, this shotgun's pretty cool, I don't know where I found it. But it, yeah, it does a number. I'll definitely be keeping all of this for a bit, until something else catches my eye. Or until I run out of ammo, which looks like I've not got many more shots of doing that with it. But yeah, it's coming towards the end of this this little video. It's a really cool little. It is a cool game. There's a lot, you know. It's easy to jump in. It loads fast, which is good. I like that about you know, any game that you can just jump in. You know, and that's pretty much how I've been playing it. I've been jumping in, playing for maybe an hour, you know, 40 minutes, an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and then I've come off, done some random shit, you know, whatever it might be. And then I'm jumping back on, and yeah, maybe another little half an hour, another hour, just finishing off what I was doing, coming off, rinse, repeat. Just been really doing that for the sort of 12 or so hours that I've put into the game so far. Let's just see how many hours I've got into it actually. Out of interest, because I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, 14.8 hours. But they've, yeah, like I say, pretty much been built up with just doing you know, an hour and a half here, an hour and a half there, little bits at a time. It's not a game that I can sit and play for 5 or 6 or 7 hours. I don't think. It's just a bit too grindy in terms of flying around from different, you know, planets and systems. All them load screens, alright, the quick load screens, which is good, but you know, there's just too many. I don't see why there needs to be. I don't know. It is what it is. Maybe I should fast travel. Maybe I can. Maybe that's a mechanic I'm missing out on. Maybe that'll speed the game, you know, like the progress and the playthrough a bit up. I'm not sure. But we'll get there. We'll see. All we can do is just keep plugging away and keep playing it a bit. I'm glad it runs good. There's not any massive bugs. A couple of bits and bobs that you see. Swimming's another thing that I'm disappointed in. When you first jump into the water at the Atlantis, I think it is, you expect to be able to dive down and have a little bit of a swim round, which you can't do. Which I think just little things like that you know, you're playing a fucking massive open world RPG game. There's just a couple of little bits there that, why can't you do this? You know, bit of swimming combat would be good. Swim missions, finding stuff, you know, all that sort of shit. But anyway, you never know. Maybe it can get modded in. Maybe it'll come out at a later update. Who knows? But yeah, leave a comment on how your playthrough's going. Are you enjoying the game? Is it everything you expected or not? But thanks for watching. Appreciate it, and I'll catch you all in the next video.